Hello and welcome to the Minutes to Win It podcast. I'm Big Italy 42. He is Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11. We're talking about some situations for tonight based on injuries, some projected minutes higher, lower, etc. Trying to give you a little bit of an idea of this Big Ten game slate we've got here. So first off, Michael Carter-Williams officially listed as doubtful for tonight, which means Jared Bayless going to get himself a nice big helping of minutes. And I mean, he saw himself a huge helping of minutes last time out, playing 47 minutes. Against Brooklyn, 30.6 FanDuel points there. You obviously aren't quite expecting a 47-minute performance there, but at the same time, not a whole lot of depth in that backcourt. So Bayless should be locked into some pretty big minutes. I think he's a decent filler for your cash games there if you need him, or really even in a tournament too, because he's bare minimum on FanDuel, 3,800 on DraftKings. Not a bad price there. So we're thinking, probably mid-30s minutes here, maybe 35, 36 for him, maybe even higher.
At the least. I mean, the Bucks are just riding their starters all the way through. I mean, Top to bottom, they have nobody back. Jabari Parker is back, though. Going to see 15 20 minutes tonight. Doesn't really, impact anyone else because there's no one behind them. So, still going to be big minutes for the Bucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Now on the side of the 76ers, Robert Covington re-aggravated his knee injury there, so it looks like Hollis Thompson likely to jump back into the starting lineup, but shouldn't change a whole lot for him. He did start in the first two games, 36 and 32 minutes, went back to the bench, still played 31, so the starting designation for him doesn't mean a whole lot, and it's a fairly tough matchup against Milwaukee, but at the same time, this guy's going to get 30-plus minutes, so if you need a filler for your cash games, not huge upside with this guy, not a big usage player, but got to expect 30 to 33 minutes in this one for Hollis Thompson. So I think if you're going to punt one position, he's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, 3,900, you can't really complain if he gets you 20 FanDuel points, especially if you're paying up elsewhere with all the big names tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy here, game time decision for Avery Bradley here. And obviously this being your Boston Celtics situation here, and I know you're excited about somebody getting a potential bump if Bradley can't go. So who's your target here?
Well, it's Isaiah Thomas. I mean, the guy puts up his fantasy points per minute are just insane. His prices are pretty solid, only 7,200 on FanDuel, and just 6,300 on DraftKings. And if he can get into the lower 30s, that just expands his ceiling tonight. But Evan Turner likely gonna come in at the shooting guard spot, but this team is just so much depth. Outside of Isaiah Thomas, it's no one really worth mentioning.
Yeah, but Thomas definitely worth mentioning, like you said, for those minutes and that 34.1% usage rate. That's top 5 in the NBA right now. So when he's on the court, he is the guy. Next up, Terrence Jones, once again, lacerated eyelid, I believe is what they're calling it. Whatever it may be, he's going to probably miss again tonight again. I don't think it's official that he's out, but he did miss shoot around. Not likely that he plays. Dwight Howard should play. It's not a back-to-back. We had one game off in between. We'll see how many minutes he plays. At his ripe old age of 29, the guy seems to need a whole lot of rest. I'm not exactly sure when he's going to see big minutes. If he is, he's not a guy that's on my radar at all. Are you playing any Dwight Howard, or is it still a stay away for you too?
No, I don't think I will probably ever play Dwight Howard again, to be honest.
Yeah, it's maybe if he plays Denver and he has to play full minutes.
Yeah. If it's a 3-game slate.
Yeah. Dwight Howard, he's off limits for me as well. Kristaps Porzingis, another guy who was dealing with an injury after the last game, and with a neck injury, it looks like he's going to be fine. He says he's good to go for tonight. Certainly, you're kind of chasing some points here. It's not a big minutes guy still, coming off a 39.3 fantasy point performance on FanDuel against the Spurs, but still just 24 minutes. Hasn't played more than 26 minutes in any game, so he's a guy that's a nice filler. Probably more of a cash game play than a GPP play because he just doesn't have a ton of upside. But, we did see it against the Spurs there, so I'm just a little bit hesitant because there's a lot of guys in this Knicks rotation, not a ton of guys that see big minutes. I just think there's better options. But if you're going to use him as a filler, you could throw him in a GPP because he is so cheap. But just not a guy that I'm not going out of my way to search for a guy that's playing 24 to 26 minutes.
Yeah, same here. I don't expect that, huge ceiling like he had against the Spurs. And really, I don't even know how he did that against San Antonio because they're so good on defense. But, the ceiling's limited. Until the minutes are there, I'm probably going to stay away from him in tournaments. But like you said, GP or cash game option, not too bad because, what we've seen from his floor so far is pretty solid.
Yeah. Speaking of another guy who has been picking up huge minutes here, this one is significant. Assuming that Terrence Jones sits out, the Rockets have been going small. Marcus Thornton, 31 and 37 minutes in the last 2 games, near minimum salary on both sites. He's a guy that is very scoring reliant. Had 7 rebounds in the last game. You're certainly not expecting that again. But anytime you get a guy this cheap that's playing 30-plus minutes at a position like shooting guard that's particularly weak, maybe not so much tonight on a full slate, but not a bad guy to fill in there, throw in a couple of your tournament lineups because, I mean, he's going to get minutes. And this is a guy who we've seen in the past has been a hot shooter type of guy. When he gets hot, he can put up points in a hurry. But just keep in mind that even with all those minutes, he does have a pretty low floor still.
Yeah, he does, because if the shot's not falling, that score drops to a low. But, I mean, matching up against Orlando tonight, they're definitely a small team, so they're going to match up small as well, especially without Terrence Jones. But, I mean, the guy shot the ball 30 times in the last 2 games, 7 of 15 from 3, so he is feeling it. If you want to ride that hot streak, I don't mind for bare minimum here.
Yeah, and kind of transitioning over to the other side of that one, like you mentioned, Orlando, Tobias Harris recently, he saw 31, 46 minutes and then went down to 22 and 29. And it's not for lack of production. I mean, last night in 29 minutes, 9 points, 13 boards, an assist, and a steal. So not exactly sure what the situation is with him not getting big minutes here. But for me, he's tournament-only option until we see him consistently playing his 30, 35-plus. And we've seen this before with Tobias Harris. Sporadically gets low minutes. Not sure why. I mean, before it was some struggles, but it seems like he's playing well. So maybe there's some health concern we don't really know about. But I'm just not expecting huge minutes until we see more consistency with him.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away. And looking through the game logs, he hasn't been on a back-to-back at all. So that's something that's really odd because he's having rest in between games.
Yeah, could certainly be concerning there. Next up, DeMarcus Cousins is out for at least one more game. So that means Kosta Koufos and Willie Cauley-Stein going to take over the minutes once again. Koufos last game, 26 minutes, played 29 in the game before that. Okay, production for him, not a tournament play, cash game only, not a guy with much upside. Willie Cauley-Stein, though, is the guy that is going to give you some upside. Facing off against the Phoenix team that they attack the rim a lot, and he is an elite defender already at this. I mean, he's a rookie, only played a few games, of course, but he's huge, blocks a lot of shots. And, with guys attacking the rim here, this is a guy who, in his 3 games, he's played 30, 23, and 34 minutes. He's been productive, showed some big upside against the Lakers, has come very close to double-double in each of his 3 games. So I think tonight, you should see him 30-plus minutes. He's got big upside. And you might even see him with around 35 minutes if he's being productive on the court.
Yeah, I like Willie Cauley-Stein tonight, especially over Koufos if you're going that route as a cheap center play. Against Phoenix, it doesn't really have, outside, Tyson Chandler, but he's not the player he used to be. And they don't really have anyone else outside or on the inside there in Phoenix. So definitely like his upside tonight.
Yeah, another guy that we would like his upside, but currently has the flu. He's questionable, maybe a game-time decision for tonight. Derek Favors, if he ends up not being able to go, really not a whole lot that really stands out. You're going to see Trevor Booker likely take on minutes, but looking at his game logs, in 46 minutes so far this season, he has accumulated 15.6 FanDuel points. So a third of a point per minute, roughly. If Favors sits out, it really doesn't do a whole lot for that his individual position at power forward. You'll see minutes go to Booker, but that's a no thanks for me. Maybe you look at some guys like Rodney Hood, maybe take some more shots. Obviously, you see Rudy Gobert, not much of a usage guy either. So it's just still Utah. There's not a whole lot of production to go around. No one's going to just step into the Favors role.
Yeah, if you look at the opposing side, Portland's not a big team, so they could run small, possibly even use Hayward at the 4 because Hayward's actually a pretty lengthy guy. And then, you got Burks and then Hood there as well, so they can definitely fill around. But, as far as guys stepping in for Favors, not a fan.
Yeah, no, not at all. Another game time decision tonight, Andrew Bogut against the Clippers. Obviously, they need all the size they can get in this matchup against a Clippers team that still gives up a lot of rebounds down low, despite the fact that they have so much size and athleticism. Obviously, this game highest projected total of the night. Warriors a big favorite, as they will be against just about any team anytime soon. But Andrew Bogut, even if he plays, you probably aren't going to see huge minutes from him. You never really do, even when he's completely healthy. So really all it'll do is take away some from Festus Ezeli. Mo Bates is still going to get his 75 fantasy points per minute for his 11 minutes he's going to play. So really it doesn't change much aside from a defensive presence down low.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would, if he does start, DeAndre Jordan kind of gets bumped down just a little bit for me. But other than that, not too much to worry about here.
No, not at all. Next up, another injury here. This one, not going to get your narrative game here in the revenge with J.R. Smith against the Knicks because has a right knee bruise and quad tendonitis. So saying he's going to miss the next few games here. Richard Jefferson apparently at shoot around this morning wearing the starter's colors, or the starter jersey. So it looks like he'll probably get the start. But we know this story with Richard Jefferson. Turn your calendars back maybe 10 years, and maybe he's a viable play. But I mean, even if he sees big minutes, he's another one of those guys we've seen last two games, 46 minutes against Miami and Philadelphia, 12.2 FanDuel points. So Richard Jefferson could start. He could play 48 minutes for all I care, and I'm not touching him.
Oh, me either.
Yeah, I mean, I have about the same usage rate as Richard Jefferson does, so that's a definite no thanks. One more guy to consider here, as we're talking about injuries, Jan Mahimi. He's a game-time decision for tonight. Had a lower back injury against the Pistons last game, left after just 5 minutes. So if he doesn't play, see a couple more minutes there for guys like Miles Turner, who's really cheap across the industry. Still only played 15 minutes in the game. He's been very productive in the minutes he's gotten, but still really not expecting any more than maybe 22 to 23 at most with him. So a filler, a high energy upside guy, good shot blocker, but not a guy that I'm expecting to take on a big role here either, though.
No, me either, especially because he's been a little bit banged up with the ankle injury coming into the season, so I think they are taking it easy on him. I mean, the matchup is solid, but the minutes aren't there, so I'm not really going to be looking his way tonight.
Yeah, don't need to get too creative with things like that tonight. So there's your breakdown of some minutes, some guys stepping into or coming out of bigger roles due to some injuries and things like that. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got lots of other great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.